Hello everyone, I am Tanya with Ribbon Branch Crafts and I'm here to show you another tutorial. These are also kits that you can get in my Etsy shop, or you can get the stuff separately and then you will know how to do this to make more. So this kit is another cutie kit. This is one of the Halloween designs that I've come up with for you. This is going to be the Witch in the Cauldron cutie kit. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a pair of resin eyes. You're going to get a circle piece of cardboard. You're going to get one of these foam bases, and I will be selling these eventually in my Etsy shop as well if you want to not buy the kit, but you just want to buy supplies to create your own designs. You're going to get a witch hat, and then you're going to get a cauldron. Okay, so we're going to also use some black clay for this particular kit. You're going to get coordinating colors. So since this hat is black with the yellow, you're going to get yellow in your kit. If you get the other color kits, you'll get the coordinating color that goes with to match the hat. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First step to making this kit is we're going to start to work with our cardboard. We're going to go ahead and cover this with whatever the color is you got in your kit. We're going to use that. So we're going to go ahead and just roll out our clay. And we're just going to very easy, very easy, we're going to cover this. So you're going to get a little bit of super glue, okay? And we're going to put it on top. And then we're going to go ahead and cover this. We're going to flip it over, trim around, and then go ahead and bring it to the back. Okay, just like that. And this does not have to be perfect. This is just giving us a base to start to work on getting our cauldron for for the purpose that we're going to actually use it for. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take our super glue and we're going to put super glue around the top lip of the cauldron. And then we're going to take our covered piece of cardboard and we're just going to center it and then press it down. Okay, just like that. So at this point, you're going to pick if you want this to be in the front of your design or if you want it in the back of your design. Okay. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start to do the actual witch part of our cutie. Have our green color. This is the mint green. You can get this in my Etsy shop. And we're just going to roll this long enough and wide enough to wrap around our cutie base. Okay, just like that. Then the next step for this is to cover our cutie. You can use super glue or tacky glue. I'm going to go ahead and use super glue since I already have it out. And we're going to set it just like this. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it around. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and trim the excess. And then smooth that edge. Just gently press. Then we're going to go in and we're going to trim the excess off one side. Then we're going to cover our base. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Trim off your excess, and then we're going to go ahead and make sure that's covered. Okay, so this is what we have. Now the next thing we're going to do is you find the front that you want to be where your face is going to go. And so we're going to set it on its back, because now we're going to go ahead and put the eyes on. So I'm going to put a little bit of tacky glue where I intend on putting my eyes. And then gently press in. And there we go. Okay. So now the next step that we're going to do is we're going to create the cheeks and the nose for our witch design. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to start with the nose. If you got the kit, you were given some toothpicks. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our toothpick and we're going to cut it in half at an angle. This is very important to make sure that you have two sharp ends that you are able to use. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stick one right in the center of our face. And then we're going to take a piece of that cool mint. We're going to roll it in a ball. And then we're going to make our favorite shape, our cone shape. Now you can make this as thick or as long as you want to. I think this is probably good for what I want mine to look like. And then I'm going to put just a little dab of super glue on the tip of my toothpick. So now before we get this on, I'm going to flatten my nose on the back just a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and stick it on. And take your fingers and just kind of gently work it however shape that you're looking for. Okay? Then the next step that we're going to do for this is we're going to take another little ball of the cool mint and we're going to go ahead and cut this in half. You keep these pieces just the way that they are when you cut them. So now we're going to go just below the eye and touching our little witch nose. Okay, so this is what we have. I'm going to go ahead and put a little blush on her cheeks. You don't have to do this. I get mine from, this is just cheap blush from the Dollar Tree. It works really good for things like this. You could also do like a green pastel, chalk pastel if you wanted more of that kind of look. So now we're going to go ahead and put her smile on. I'm going to use my smile tool. I sell these in my Etsy shop. I'm going to use the larger side of the skinny kind of primitive type smile tool. And I'm just going to go in at an angle. And then once you go in at an angle, I'm going to pull down just a little bit so we can define that a little bit more. Okay? So now the last step for our witch face, you can do this part if you want to, or you can leave this part out if you don't want to do that part, is I'm just going to take a little ball of clay and I'm going to put a couple little warts on our little witch's nose. Okay, so now we have that part. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna work on her hair next. Now I have my black ready to use for the hair. So now you can do this one of two ways if you want to. I'm gonna show you the way that I like to do it. But we can put the hair on and then put this on our cauldron, or we can put this on our cauldron and then add the hair. I prefer and suggest that you use it if you're wanting longer hair for your witch, that you put it on here first, because you can overlap it a little bit and you won't have to worry about messing up the strands of hair. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And all we do for this part is we're going to put a little bit of super glue on the top of our cauldron. And remember, find your front, and then we are going to put our witch lady face and gently press her in. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So now the next step is you take your black that comes in the kit, or whatever color that you decide to do, and we're just going to take little balls of clay and we're going to roll them into long stringy cones. Okay, and we want them to be tapered on each side, just like that. So now we're just going to start tacking them on to our character. Now you want to leave, see how that's kind of off of her face? You want that because that'll help add dimension to your design and to the hair, so it doesn't look like it's all matted and sticking to her face. I'm going to show you really quick how to do a bang. If you want the shorter pieces, we just do the same tapered log of clay, and we're going to put them on the front of her face. Okay, so I'm going to show you one more time with a slightly different size. Make sure you taper the edges once you get the thickness that you want. And then just tack it down how you want it. Okay, and we're going to do this all the way around the hair. Now we've added all of our little tapered logs, and I wanted more of like the stringy witch type hair. You can absolutely add more or less. You can make it look a little more curly. This is where your creativity comes in, and you do this however you want to. So now the next step that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put her hat on. And all we do for that is, if you got the kit, you're going to have another toothpick for this part. You don't have to do this because we are going to super glue it, but I'm putting it in here just to help the hat stay in place and to help it stay straight. This is a hard felt, so you shouldn't have an issue, but just in case, I'm gonna show you this step in case you want to do it as well. And all it is just a little bit of super glue on one end that we're just going to put directly into the top of her head, just like that. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and take the hat. You're going to see there's a seam on the back, so make sure that that is facing the back of your character when you put your hat on. And what we're going to do is we're going to put super glue all around the rim. Get you a pretty good amount on there. And then we're gonna make sure you have the back where it's supposed to be. And then we're just gonna go ahead and press our hat down. Okay? Just press gently. And this is what we have. Okay? Easy peasy, cutie, cutie, cutie. Okay. So now I'm going to show you the last step to do this cute little craft, and we're going to go ahead and add some little cauldron bubbles for our wig. We're going to pull out the color that you used to cover this part, and all we're going to do is we're going to make different balls of varying sizes, and we're gonna put them around our cauldron. So we're just gonna pull a piece off, make a little ball, and then we're just gonna stick it on like that, okay? Then we're gonna get a slightly smaller piece and put it right next to it. Okay, and we're gonna do this all the way around. So we put a little layer going around our cauldron, okay? And so now we're just gonna take it one step further, and I'm gonna add some smaller ones in between just to build up our dimension a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna take a little bit smaller than the two sizes I was alternating between, and we're just gonna take our smaller one and just randomly put one all around just to kind of build it up a little bit more. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to go around the piece one more time with these smaller pieces, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to make it look like it's dripping over the edge. If you're happy with as much as you've wanted to build it up, we're going to go ahead and do the very last part, which is we're going to make a little bit of our bubbles dripping over the side. So all we're going to do for that is we're going to take a few of varying sizes of balls of clay, and you want to make sure you have some bigger ones going all the way down to some fairly small ones, okay? Okay, so once we get that, you are going to need super glue for this part just to make sure that your clay adheres properly to the cauldron itself. So what we're going to do is find where you want this to bubble over, and we're going to put a little dab of super glue and put your biggest circle that you made at the top. Then we're just going to start to angle our circles, tapering down, start, going down with the smaller size, and we're going to make somewhat of like a zigzag shape with our clay. Okay, just like that. And that is all there is to it. You can add a couple more. I think I'm going to add a couple more of the little dots just to give it more dimension like we did up here. And that is all there is to it. These would be great for craft shows if you wanted to buy a bunch of these kits and take them to a craft show. They're very easy to do. Very, very fun to do, and I hope you enjoyed your time with me today. Thank you for hanging out with me at Ribbon Branch Crafts, and I hope that you enjoy this design. Have a great day, everyone, and never ever forget how much Jesus loves you. Bye.